they've just announced the pricing for Enfield's Super Meteor 650, and it looks really impressive. It looks so competitively priced, so £6,799. And it just looks, I mean, I don't know if you've seen it yet. Did we see any shows together?
In the flesh, no. I mean, obviously I've seen plenty of videos over it. It is actually one that I was interested in. I felt like I was waiting for that one for a while, because when the Interceptor 650 came out, it just made sense that at some point they would put in a cruiser. And I think they also teased, they made like a
I know the one you mean. The prototype.
Prototype. Yeah, in that green one, right? It was a few EICMAs ago.
Yeah, it looked phenomenal.
Oh, beautiful! And I was like, yeah, they're gonna make themselves a bobber or a cruiser. It makes more sense. I mean, it's more usable than say a bobber. So that I was excited to see a cruiser come in. I like it a lot, and I think also for me, you probably agree, but it puts me in mind of the Triumph America or Speedmaster 900 that they don't do anymore. No. And I think that also means there is a gap in the market for that, unless you're going to go secondhand and try and pick up an older version of that. So, yeah, I'm excited to have a go on that one, actually. I'm very curious. I think that engine probably lends itself well to it.
I've always wanted one of those Bonneville Americas. I think they look super cool. I saw like a custom one online once, and it just got me in this sort of wormhole of eBay research, and then I kind of forgot about it until I started working more with Superbike Factory, where you just have a look around the showroom, and it does rekindle some old yearnings for specific bikes, which I've got to be cautious, I think, spending time there. But yeah, I think I saw the Super Meteor at EICMA, and it looks really impressive for the money. That was the thing that was a shame. When I made a video about it at EICMA, I didn't have the price. So it's kind of like everything that you say about a bike, just from reviewing the specs and looking at it in the flesh, talking about the build quality, the power levels, the features.
Yes.
It really frustrates me when the price isn't. I'm sure there are reasons for it, and it's not specific to Enfield. Literally everybody does it, but there are a few manufacturers that just give you the price right away, and it's so much better when that happens, because it's the one piece of context that could make absolutely everything that you're saying either redundant or maybe you're completely underselling it. I mean,
true.
If it's things like the Hornet coming in at 6,999, that's phenomenal for what you get. And so, to have that context is
even
great.
Just to give you a ballpark would be handy, right? Even if they said it's not exactly this, but it's around this figure.
Most manufacturers, if you call the press guys, they'll say it's going to be roughly this, but we can't tell you. Like we're hoping it'll be in this kind of area.
So you have to frame it in I think it will be this, all things point towards it being roughly this amount. Yeah, it's a good price, I think. Yeah. What would you compare that to? What do you reckon for similar kind of money?
You can't get anything that looks as good as that. And that presumably, from what I've seen in the reviews and from what I know of riding the other Enfields, the engine's great. That's 650 parallel twin. It's not super powerful. No one's going to buy this bike to do drag races or whatever. But, presumably if it's the same development team, it's going to be a good bike. From what I saw of the build quality, it's beyond what I think I would expect at that price point. And I feel like Enfield have fully matured in terms of the finish looks great, and the paintwork looked really good on it. Yeah,
it's like the older ones. My dad's got the Bullet, and he actually got two of them. One's in a state of disrepair, but he can tell you how quickly the finish goes off on things like the wheels and bolts and nuts and things like that. But it really takes the shine off it when you look closely on it, and that's of the older generation of Enfield. And from my knowledge, from my experience of the newer ones, that's not as much there. They definitely have improved the finish on the metals and the bike in general. Yeah, and they only really have to exceed my expectations of that by a decent amount, which they have, because it's going to be made to a price. There's a cost element to that. You just want it to be slightly better, to exceed your expectations, even just a little bit. And Royal Enfields do for me now.
Yeah, I think so. And when you look at what else you could get for the money, the only two cruiser bikes that come to mind, having done a little bit of research on it, are the Vulcan S from Kawasaki, which is like the engine. It's got like 180 parallel twin 650. Yeah. It's fine. It's a really like reliable, solid engine. But I mean, a cruiser should stir your soul a bit.
It's a bit of a tractor, that one, isn't it? And I also don't think it looks that great compared.
So it's sort of like a modern cruiser. I think that sort of stuff goes down a lot better in the States, where they sell a lot of the kind of. In fact, if you look at most Japanese manufacturers, they have. If you go on their US website, they have more cruisers available than we have here, and it's a good starter cruiser, let's say, learner friendly. But not. It's 500 quid more expensive than the Super Meteor. So I think personally, I'd be like happy to have that money in my pocket and something that I think is a bit more desirable, has a bit more character. And then the other one's the Rebel 500, which is something like 6199 or 6299. Again, it's got the 180 crank. It's a cool bike. Another great starter cruiser. Lots to like about it, but it puts into context just how good value for money the Meteor looks, doesn't it?
Definitely, yeah. And also, I mean, Honda actually do good value for money in general, anyway. So if it's beating the likes of Honda or Yamaha, don't have a dog in that fight. But if it is beating them, and generally speaking, they are the more affordable end of the spectrum, and it's even cheaper than that, then it's on to a winner. Yeah,
I'm very much looking forward to taking one for a spin. They've already launched it in India, so hopefully not too long. And I've seen some bikes are arriving in dealers already here, so it shouldn't be too long until we get a go on one.